Right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Like always.
Hi, this is Beth.
And I'm Stainy.
And you're listening to Mixed Politics. Welcome to episode 21.
21.
We're of legal age.
We're of legal drinks.
What are you drinking tonight?
Oh, I'm drinking what I have decided to call Vibes and Ting. Because it contains rum, V8 Splash Berry Blend, Ting, which is a grapefruit Jamaican soda. It's an island staple. If you've never had Ting, that's the Ting part. And lemon juice. And a big chunk of ice.
Yeah.
And it's glorious.
It is tasty. I did try it.
What are you drinking tonight, Beth?
I'm calling this a fruitcake because we're going to be talking about a lot of fruitcakes tonight. But it is strawberry flavored Bang with some vodka.
Okay.
So, yeah, fruitcake is on the menu tonight.
Won't some people find that term like derogatory?
I certainly hope not.
Okay. I'm not a part of this. I just want to point out, if that ever happens,
You know fruitcake is an actual dessert, right?
I do. I'm just saying, though, it's 2021. People just take things and just go with it.
That is a good point. So, I apologize if I offend anybody by using that term.
There we go. So, what are we talking about tonight?
What's going on with the Justice for January 6th movement?
Oh, the movement.
Yeah, I guess we're going to talk mostly about the people involved in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll briefly touch on the movement, but Justice for January 6th stuff, I guess you can say.
All right. So basically the idea is to give you guys an update, because I know a lot of people haven't been following this. Because it's, to be honest, in my opinion, it's idle. Like, yeah. It's idle, but it's also entertaining. It's entertainment. Like, it's not necessarily news. It's not necessarily politics. It's just what's going on with these dumb motherfuckers.
Right, yeah.
And you know, you follow each rabbit hole.
Yes.
And you end up in weird places.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the people. We're going to be talking about some people tonight who were arrested. Some of them were arrested on January 6th. At the Capitol, and some of them had to go through, you know, UNI. The FBI had to use UNI. That was so funny.
People. I know.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, have you seen this person? Call us with an anonymous tip.
Right.
But you know, snitch ass Americans. They were calling in.
It's not only that though.
Yeah.
We have to address the fact that a lot of these people were caught within the first few days.
They were.
Because they posted their shit on social media. They're dumb enough to expose themselves. So that has to be said. And a lot of it stemmed from Parler. Does anybody remember Parler? I mean,
oh my God. That got shut down like the day off. Was it
before.
Like, it was before?
It was before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was shut down well before that.
That's so funny.
Well, actually, no. I think you are right. Maybe it was shortly after. So there was one. I have to give credit to somebody called Crash Override on Twitter. She did some hacking of Parler, and there were already issues with Parler. If you're not familiar with what happened, with
wasn't that super young? She's like a high schooler.
Yes. She was very young, and this girl, brilliant. She figured out that Parler. Dan Bongino, the moron that he is, the people that were behind creating Parler, essentially they created on WordPress, and then they used
oh my God.
It was like a trial version of encryption and software protection, so it was so easily hackable that she got in there within seconds, because after January 6th, you're right, it was after. She was like, well, obviously these people are posting their stuff on Parler and they're probably going to delete it. So she went in and she got 30 terabytes full of data.
Yes.
From Parler. And yeah, so I'm going to touch on that just a little bit more later, but we have to give credit to Crash Override because she was brilliant. She sent the stuff to the FBI and they just started nabbing people immediately.
It was so funny because it was like, but not, I mean, obviously they were dumb enough to be people were live tweeting on various live. Yeah, they were just like, we're inside, we're in Nancy Pelosi's office, we're in whatever. And I'm just like, y'all don't realize that this is illegal?
Yeah. And
Like, who live streams a murder?
what I think is so funny, though, is that these people flocked to Parler because they didn't like Twitter or Facebook shutting down their free speech.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny that a lot of these people, they put their shit out there on Parler committing crimes, and then they themselves deleted it. They were censoring themselves and deleting their own free speech because they knew they were committing crimes.
But that's the thing. From like an end user perspective, they thought that if I delete it, then it's gone.
It's gone. Yes, exactly. No, whatever you put on the internet, guys, it's out there forever.
It's forever. You can't go find Amazon Web Services and delete it off those servers.
No.
First of all, those servers
FBI
are in Taiwan or somewhere like that.
And by the way, deleting evidence is a crime. If the FBI is after you and you delete your evidence, that is an actual crime.
So you just added more to the fucking
Some
indictment.
of these people we're going to talk about did that. So, yeah. So, yeah, the justice for January 6th, that kind of seems like it sounds a lot more than what actually has been happening.
Yeah.
They're tooting their horns pretty loudly, but it's really just a paper tiger, I think.
Paper tiger? Wow, that's the second time I've heard that phrase. The first time was from a gamer friend of mine talking about a mage being a paper tiger.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that in this sense?
A tiger is usually something that would scare people, but it's made of paper, so it's not scary at all.
Yeah. Like the guy with all the fucking shaman shit. And he's up there. It's like, just sit your ass down. You don't even know what chamber you're in.
And then he gets to jail and he starts asking for organic food.
Wow! So he's literally a paper tiger.
Yes!
That's so hilarious.
Yes.
And his mom, I remember his mom was out there and she was just like, he needs this kind of food. He doesn't eat nuts. He's gluten allergic. And we're like, your son is a seditionist and he's in jail. We don't give a fuck what he eat. Like,
I'm sorry, you don't get to choose your food when you go to prison. I'm so sorry. But...
would I be upset if they had gluten free fucking goop, whatever they fucking serve?
we would just be lucky to actually have real food in there. So
Yeah.
I mean, most of that stuff is not really edible. So
Wow.
I don't know this from personal experience. I just know this from having done research about the judicial system and stuff like that. So, anyways,
these people had a rally.
Yeah.
Recently.
Did they really? Because I didn't see anything.
It was the most pathetic rally. I don't know if rally is the right term. Is it protest?
Assembly. They had an assembly. No, that's not even fair because like assemblies at like it was a pep rally.
It was a pep rally. Assemblies at like kids' schools and shit.
Right, exactly. That's
had
why
more
I said
people.
That. Yeah.
So they had this thing called Justice for J6, right? Mm-hmm. And their whole thing was the whole idea behind it was they're gonna have speakers, they're gonna protest, they're gonna picket, they're gonna chant, whatever. Pretty much in the same spot that the January 6th insurrection started. Like where the rally was taking place. However, I mean, and they got their permits, they got whatever, DC was prepared. But it's just so turned out that there were far more press and police presence than actual like protesters and like rally goers. And it was so depressing. Like if you saw a picture of like a panoramic view, you'd be like, y'all getting ready to play soccer or
right?
What's this? There was literally like maybe about 150 people out there.
And what was the purpose of them even protest? What were they protesting?
So they were protesting what they considered to be inhumane or terrible treatment of the people who had been arrested for storming the Capitol and trying to hang Mike Pence and disrupting one of the charges I believe that pretty much everyone got was disrupting an official service or something like that.
Disrupting Congress.
Basically. Yeah. So they were saying that these people weren't treated fairly while they are, some of them are incarcerated, some of them were let out on bond, but the people that were held, they were saying that they didn't have adequate food, they didn't have adequate time to talk to their attorneys, they didn't have quality bedding, they didn't have all of these things, and they're treated like subhuman. And what was funny to me was that have these people not heard of jail?
Have these people not heard those like you and I for the last fucking 1,000 years talking about how the justice system is completely corrupt and how they do treat people inhumanely in prison? They didn't give two fucks about that because it wasn't them.
Right.
Now it is them.
That reminds me of that famous quote, you know, like, at first they came for XYZ and I ain't give a shit because I'm not XYZ. Yeah. But now that I am XYZ, I want help. Right. And me over here, I'm just like, I've been XYZ. I ain't helping you with shit. Go fuck yourself.
Even last year, when George Floyd got murdered, so many of them were saying, well, if he had just followed the law.
The law says you can't storm the Capitol building. Why didn't you comply? The officers were there telling you, back the fuck up, don't come in here. Yeah. They didn't want to comply. If they had just complied. Well, now we're in court. And I've been watching a lot of the court cases, which has been hilarious to me because they're doing them like remote. So they're on video. Yes. And so they're in a room with a bunch of other, I guess, not convicts, indicted people.
Yeah, defendants.
Yeah, because in America, you're
innocent until proven guilty.
she had to say it because that ain't the case for everybody.
That's true. Yes, you are a defendant because you're defending your case, and
so the judges would call them up, and like I was watching like a bunch of them preparing for this, and like each different judges that I've seen. They have so much like disdain for these people. Yes. Like the other people who have like, you know, they've evaded child support or
traffic violations
or, you know, domestic disturbance or whatever. Yeah. The judge is like, okay, so what's going on? Okay. All right. So how do you plead? Whatever. And then they bring up like this random insurrectionist and they're like, and the judge is just like, all right. I'm really sick of this docket here. You have been charged with 12 things where if you had just stayed at your damn house, we wouldn't be in this fucking pickle. How do you plead? And like sometimes they're really adamant. They're just like, not guilty. And he's just like, oh God, how can we? Okay. It's like, this is going to be longer than I expected.
Exactly. And just for reference here, I have, these are what the documents look like when somebody files charges. I actually have one of the examples here. I'm not going to read word for word, but it's very detailed. The counts against these people. It is such and such person, count 1, attempted to and did corruptly obstruct, influence, and impede an official proceeding that is a proceeding before Congress. And the next person committed an act to obstruct and interfere with law enforcement officers. Blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. These are very detailed charges against these people.
And literally all of them have the same 5 basic ones. It's the first one you just read. Yes. Disrupting Congress. Well, all of them, it's so weird. The Back the Blue crowd, all of them have resisting arrest.
Yes, I know. I wonder if these people would join forces with the defund the police crowd on the far, far left. And why not? They all are basically trying to get rid of the police, right? Yeah. So yes, these judges are not having it, and there's a couple cases I'm going to talk about tonight in which one of the judges just clapped back something fierce to one of these people, and it's a case you're going to love. So we're going to talk about. Do you want to go first with one of yours, or do you want me to go first?
Let's hear yours. Yours sound way more entertaining than mine, honestly.
All right. So I'm going to start. But I do want to repeat that a lot of these perpetrators were caught by their own posting on Facebook or Parler or Twitter. Yeah. And I was watching a lot of this in real time. So I'm going to give you two different places to go to because I have heard some people complain that these proceedings are too secretive, that nobody really knows what's going on. And that's just simply not
You can watch all of them live on YouTube.
That's the thing, is that they're on YouTube. The media is not covering it. Therefore, people think it's not being covered at all.
Because the media got other better shit to fucking do, man.
Yes. They got enough. They're focused on dividing the country over Joe Biden. Yeah. So if you are interested in knowing where we're getting some of our stuff, you can actually see this in real time, some of these cases. If you go to Twitter, look up Rachel Weiner and Scott McFarlane. I'm going to put their information in the description so that you can... They live tweet from these court proceedings, and they have screenshots of the court documents. So you can actually see some of the stuff where we're getting this from. So I've been watching this for months now because of Rachel Weiner. She has a great Twitter feed. And before I get to my favorite case, I just want to say that a lot of these people are getting charged with misdemeanors, which is shocking to me.
I'm shocked and appalled and taken aback. It's only a misdemeanor, to storm the Capitol and like kill a bunch of people.
So here's the thing. This is going to be woven into some of these cases. The overall theme that I'm going to touch on tonight is these people are fucking lucky that they are only getting misdemeanors.
Pause. Lucky or the complexion for protection?
Complexion for protection. Absolutely.
Let's go with that.
That's why this whole justice for Jan 6, they better sit the fuck down because they're gonna take away that protection that they have because of the color of their skin. And that's why these judges are not having it, because they're like, you are getting off with the misdemeanor. You better, at least know how blessed you are to not get something worse. Don Bancroft is a great place to start. This isn't even my favorite case, but this is driving home the point that these nut jobs are saying, oh, this isn't fair, it's unlawful detainment. They should consider themselves lucky. So Don Bancroft is from Pennsylvania. She entered the Capitol, filmed herself coming out of it, in which she said, we broke into the Capitol. And that was her words. We broke into the Capitol.
I think I remember this clown. Like, I remember watching it, like, in the not the immediate aftermath and all the people who were there. I think I remember. Was she the one that was giving directions to people like, you got to get to the second floor?
No.
Okay.
No.
You know that one, though, right?
I know that one, yeah.
All right, go on.
So her words, broke into the Capitol, and now she's crying that she's innocent. So she says, we're looking for Nancy to shoot her in the friggin' brain, but we didn't find her. Those were her words.
In the brain?
This was on video that she said this, and she sent the video to her kids. And then she asked her kids to later delete it. So she broke into the Capitol building. She admitted to that. She's not getting charged for that. She's tampering with evidence by deleting it. She's not getting charged for that either. She's not getting charged for attempted murder. For saying
why is she not getting charged for any of these things?
That's my question. That's my question too. And the judge in the case was actually saying to the prosecutors, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And the judge called her a terrorist. Said these people were law-abiding citizens before January 6th, and then somehow they just turned into terrorists.
According to fucking smug face, punch face guy on Fox News. What's his name?
Which one? They all are.
Oh my God. The biggest are Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity. These people were just, they're patriots. They love the country and they wanted to fight to like take back their country from themselves.
I don't get that argument.
Didn't y'all have it?
I mean,
haven't y'all always had it? I don't know.
I don't care what these people did before. They're not law-abiding citizens anymore. They are not.
Yeah.
And by the way, some of these people are at risk of losing their weapons.
But hold on though. If you have a felony, you can't vote.
Correct.
Why are these people not being charged with felonies?
That is my question too. And that's why we're covering this. We need to have an informed audience. So, the judge in that case was basically saying, are you sure you don't want a felony charge here? Because she did say she wanted to shoot Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, in the friggin' brain.
In the brain.
Nope, she pled guilty, but she's only getting misdemeanor charge. So now we're going to move to my favorite one, Pauline Bauer.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to love this. She's from Pennsylvania. Entered the Capitol building, demanded to hang Nancy Pelosi. Boy, Nancy, she really had a lot of people targeting her that day. She posted on Facebook, I'm at the Capitol, which she misspelled the Capitol because true patriots don't know how to spell Capitol.
Did she spell it with an A?
Yes.
I knew it.
None of us are armed, just pissed that this is what we have to do.
None of us are armed. Are we blind?
She was. Yes. Don't believe your eyes, Stainy. Believe what this lady's telling you. So she said, we're just pissed. This is what we have to do to take our country back from communism. Sounds a lot like communism, what she's doing. Then she said that the antagonists were let in. So she's now blaming the cops for letting them in. She says, we didn't break in. They let us in. Remember, Donald Trump said that too. They used us for a movie so you could watch it on the news. And then she took photos of herself inside the Capitol. There are also videos of her screaming about hanging Nancy Pelosi. There's tons of evidence.
Wait. They used them for a movie?
She was saying that the media was using all of them as pawns to make a movie to show it on the news.
Why don't y'all just stay at your house?
I know! Nobody forced them to go there.
Oh my God.
These people, this is why.
This is so hard sometimes to deal with this shit because it's like that don't make any sense. How is somebody going to use you for a movie and you drove to Washington, D.C.?
It's just, I mean,
They didn't use me for a movie. I was at work.
I guess that's an admission that they're that easily manipulated. So, this lady went downhill fast. She decided to defend herself. And she was found in contempt of court because she refused to appear. Why did she refuse to appear, you ask? Because she's claiming sovereign citizen. She is not bound by the laws of the United States, according to herself.
Wait, so she's her own country? She's a sovereign citizen of what?
Have you ever heard of the sovereign citizen movement?
No, please, educate me.
This is one of the fast-growing underbelly terrorist groups that we have here. And yes, they are terrorists. They're anti-American, basically saying that they are not bound by the laws of the United States because, and here's what she submitted documents to explain this. She is a living soul, and God gave man dominion under the law. And she filed a patent of nativity document that says that her DNA existed on this land prior to the forming of the United States government.
Is she Native American?
I don't know if she's claiming to be Native American, but she would have to. She would have to. So she says that her DNA was here on the soil prior to 1776, and therefore she is not bound by any of the laws that were created after that time. And the U.S. government has no jurisdiction over her, and she's trying to absolve herself from any of these laws. Ah, yes. Yes. Was that what the quote that he was?
Yes. So one of our patrons, Ryan, had said that it is easier to con people than to convince them that they had been conned.
That's true.
And apparently the quote is attributed to Mark Twain. And I think that's what's going on with a lot of these people,
yes.
Which is how they ended up there in the first place.
Yes.
Because you can't tell them that like Donald Trump fooled them or Steve Bannon fooled them or Stephen Miller.
Even though Steve Bannon went to jail for fooling people.
He went to jail?
He did. He went to jail for conning people. He stole a bunch of money.
And for that was supposed to build a wall, and he took it and bought like a yacht and whatever.
And Donald Trump pardoned him for that. That's why.
Oh, he got pardoned? Because that's what I was wondering. I was just like, but it was a really funny like arrest situation. Like the entire black community was in uproar because the feds came and got him.
Okay.
Not the police, not the cops. The
Right.
feds came and got you. When the feds come and get you, you disappear for a long time.
Right.
That's a known thing.
Right.
Where, in my circles, that's a known thing. He was out like the next day.
Yes.
And we're like,
this is privilege.
the feds don't release people like that unless you got something on somebody.
Yes.
All right.
He got pardoned.
Yeah.
So, she is claiming this whole sovereign citizen thing. Look up the movement sometime. It's nuts. Okay, so but despite her craziness, she was given a pretrial release for, I don't know, for whatever reason. She promised to be a good little girl. But no, September 24th, she was back in court because she's not abiding by the court orders. This is why I love this case so much. She, a sovereign citizen that is not bound by the laws of the United States, failed to surrender her passport, her United States passport.
Because you would have to do that if you belong to another country.
Yes. She's refusing to give up her passport whilst claiming to be a sovereign citizen, not bound by the United States.
I know this because the passport is not yours.
No.
It's loaned to you by the United States government. So that pretty much you're an ambassador anywhere you go.
Yes.
Like a junior ambassador. So you represent the country. If something ever happens and they're just like, we have proof this person's American. So you don't make the country look bad. Exactly. And they can take it back from you at will. Like if you went overseas and like stole something and went to jail. Like when you come back, like the customs officer is like, "Thank you,
Yeah.
you idiot!
Yeah.
You made us look bad.
Right.
It ain't yours.
It's not yours." So I have to pull up some of the tweets, and we're gonna insert them here so you guys can see this, because this is where the coverage from Rachel Weiner and Scott McFarlane come into play. They were live tweeting from these court proceedings, and she won't give up her passport. She's citing religious passages and right-wing media talking. I have to stop laughing. I'm sorry. Right-wing media talking points in her defense because she was obstructing official proceedings. That was the charge against her. And she said, if these were official proceedings, why was AOC 6 blocks away? It's like, oh God, lady. She's her own defense, by the way. She is defending herself.
Are you serious?
She's defending herself.
Wait, because I have another quote. No, I do.
That's why she's saying these things, because no attorney would say this bullshit. But she's defending herself, so she's saying all this nonsense.
There's a famous quote, and I'm paraphrasing, but it goes something like, a man who chooses to defend himself in court has a fool for counsel.
Yes. That's it. I just heard that quote too. Yes. So she was
so good.
She was quoting Bible passages and saying that God has given them dominion over the laws or something to that effect. And the judge clapped back fierce.
Wow.
Said, Romans 13, let every person be subject to the governing authorities. And I was like, oh my God, he knows.
I didn't see that one.
Yes.
I should have.
So then the judge says, last chance, are you going to follow my orders? And she said, Judgment Day is going to come for all of you who are making money off of mankind. And the judge says, I'll take that as a no. Back to jail for you.
I love when they take stuff as a no. It's like, look, I'm giving you an out. Like, I'm trying to help you.
Yes.
Oh.
So that is Pauline Bauer. She is now back in jail. That was the last update I heard. Just goes to show these people, for the Justice for Jan 6 movement that says these people are being unlawfully detained, they are making their own mistakes in court. This lady's defending herself and violating all of these rules, and the judge is giving her chance after chance after chance. She is not being unlawfully detained. She is forcing them to detain her because she's a fucking moron.
Yeah. Christoper Warnagiris?
That looks right.
That looks right?
Okay.
All right, we'll go with
Just
that.
looking over his shoulder here, but that
Yeah,
looks right.
he's 40 years old, and he is a member of the great, the few, the proud United States Marine Corps. Yeah, he's active duty. Like, he's not retired.
He's not reserved. He's
not reserved. He's active. Apparently, he's done tours in Iraq for sure, what I've seen. A number of tours in Iraq. And recently, he was stationed in Virginia. Okay. And he found himself in the Capitol. Actually, the charges against him are steep so high because he was one of the first people to breach the Capitol.
Oh, no.
He pushed, like, a couple officers out of the way.
I've seen some pictures of those. Maybe he's one of the people I've seen that are like...
No, he was one of the first ones, which, you know, they were able to eyewitness, you know, pick him out of a lineup very, very easily. Yeah. Because he was one of the first people in, and he had pushed down some officers and, like, used his body to hold the door open and was waving people to come in. Mm-hmm. And that's one of his biggest charges, that he assaulted and wasn't complying with direct orders, and also, you know, assisting with the riotous, treasonous foolishness that was going on. Right. But apparently, some officers came and tried to, like, reclose the door, and he by himself held the door open and started, like, ushering people in. Oh. So he was like the Noah of the Ark. Wow. Yeah. He's been indicted on about 12 charges, and the steepest of them is about 20 years. Oh. But that's like the biggest one. But what they're saying so far is that they don't know if the other smaller ones can be served congruently. Like, it might be...
It might be tacked on?
Yeah, it might be just in succession.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because that is something that happens in our legal system, is that there is a difference based on the crimes that were committed and the jurisdiction that you're in and all that kind of stuff, and your prior criminal record, if you have one. They can say that you can, if you have, let's say, 2 years for this charge and 5 years for this charge, they could say you got to serve the 2 and the 5, or you can serve the 2 and then
within the 5.
Within the 5, and the remaining 3 is really all you get. So, yeah.
So there, so the least he can get apparently is 20. But that's completely different and set apart. His case is special because he's active duty.
Yeah.
So he's court-martialed. So he's going to civil, like he's going to our regular courts, and then like the Marine Corps is sitting there waiting for us to be done. Right. They're like, listen, any information you want from us, we'll give it to you, whatever. But when you're done, we're doing our own trial too.
That's not going to be pretty. That is going to be really messy.
It's so bad.
Oh my god.
Because apparently he was wearing standard issue gear while he was in the Capitol.
So he was in uniform.
Not full uniform. Apparently he was wearing the backpack, boots. They said tan and black gloves that were issued. Like a lot of the stuff that he had on, not like the main clothes. I think like his pants and shirt weren't.
Okay.
But the backpack, the boots, the gloves, and like some other ties that he had on were standard issue. And the Marine Corps is very serious about that, because you can't be wearing this stuff doing the bullshit that you were doing.
You're acting in an official capacity if you're wearing any of the military gear.
So they're just waiting in the wings to see what's up. But the reason why I brought this case up, not just for the time that he's going to get or whatever, is that the fact that the misinformation, the disinformation...
The lies. Let's just be real. The lies.
Okay.
The lies.
The lies, the bullshit, and the deception just to swindle you out of your money and your vote against your own interests, whatever, and then also to go indict yourself by taking on these actions. It's not that it's just some random, hillbilly or, trailer park dweller or uneducated person. Yeah. This guy is 40 years old. He's been a major, I believe, I'm not sure, either since 2013 or 2006. He has world experience. He's been in charge of other people who've been subordinate to him, etc., etc. He's not some random Joe Schmo. Right. He's not some plumber from down the street. And here he is in the Capitol getting arrested for doing the opposite of everything that he swore to do when he signed up and, finished at Paris Island or wherever he went for basic. But like, it's a lot of people, especially Twitter, social media tries to skew these people as, the dregs of society, or what was Hillary Clinton had called them, deplorables,
the basket of deplorable.
And it's like, nah, dude, you got people who are trained to kill on our behalf, who can be brainwashed and swayed to go do things like this.
And he took an oath to protect the Constitution.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And then he became one of them.
He became one of them.
Are you dumb?
That's why the military is not going to take this very lightly, because these people have made, regardless of whether you agree with their position or not, the reason they went to the Capitol that day was for political reasons.
Right.
It wasn't...
And the military is against all of that.
Exactly. Because the whole purpose of the presidency, the vice presidency, any of those people in government offices is to represent everybody, regardless of whether they agree with these people or not. And it's very clear that those who went into the Capitol that day were working on their own behalf to the detriment of our entire democracy. And they were there to defend the honor of one person. And that's just fucking pathetic.
And they can't deny it too, because I don't know if those people know, but we have video and pictures of the massive amount of Trump flags. Yeah. It wasn't just one.
It wasn't Antifa.
I could understand if they were just all raiding the Capitol with American flags, we gotta take our country back or whatever. It's no, you try to take the country for that dude.
Yeah.
Who's off somewhere cheering you on, look at them go.
Right.
You know? Just as a sidebar, there's a book that came out this week by the chief of staff, the ex-chief of staff of Melania.
Yes.
I can't remember her name, but her Twitter handle is OM Kristen Grisham?
Grisham. Stephanie Grisham.
And she was saying that because she quit on January 6th.
Yeah.
And she was saying the reason why she quit was she was imploring Melania.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, man. Who gives a shit what her name is? But worst first lady ever, if you ask me. But Melania, she was imploring Melania to issue a statement to be like, hey guys, you guys need to stop. You need to whatever. Since they weren't getting through to Trump, maybe they thought they could get through to her. Mm-hmm. And she was just like, nah, stop talking about that shit. I'm trying to take a picture with Rug. No, it's true. She was doing a photo shoot with a new rug that they got for whatever office. So, Stephanie was in there just like, hey, they're killing people. Things are happening, whatever. We need to get out in front of this. As your chief of staff, I'm trying to help you get out in front of it. She's like, no, shut your mouth. You please stand back so you can take the picture. Don't be inside the picture when we take a picture. So that's not important. Those people are people that are following my husband.
She might as well have been wearing the jacket. I don't
care. Do you? And so, but at the same time, it was so funny because I don't have Twitter that like for my own purposes.
Yeah.
But I went on there and she was just like, yeah, in my book, I'm gonna, tell all and blah 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 yada yada. And it's just like, you were an accomplice up until January 6th.
She was fine with all the other stuff that happened.
Yeah, but now you get to be like, no, I was trying to help. I was trying to stop, and it went. Man, shut the fuck up. Like,
no,
I
don't take that shit. No.
But that's they were trying to take the country.
Yes.
To circle back to what you were saying, they were trying to take the country or the capital for those people. Mm-hmm. What the husband is cheering on people like, yeah, and she's like, at a photo shoot for a fucking rug.
Right.
They didn't give a fuck, and these people are going to jail now for 20 years plus for those people.
Right.
And are currently lining up to vote for them in 3 years.
So here's the thing. I've seen on TikTok, there's a lot of these people are like, where are all the Joe Biden flags? Well, we don't give a shit about Joe Biden. We only voted for him to get that motherfucker out. So we don't...
Yes.
I don't even know if I'd vote for Joe Biden a second time. He was the means to get that asshole out. Okay.
I wish they would present someone better.
Me too.
I'd vote for someone better.
I would definitely vote for someone better.
But whoever it is, if that orange motherfucker is on the ticket again,
I'm voting for the other guy.
It could be the Obama's dog.
But the point being, there is not a singular person that you could point to and say, follow that person and storm the Capitol for defending that person over there. I'd be like, no.
Because he lost the election?
For whatever reason. It could be for whatever reason. You could say that this person did X, Y, and Z. Go follow them storming the Capitol. I'd be like, no.
The brainwashing is so weird. It's so weird and so rampant. Like a year... next month is November. Yeah. So a year later... We still have people talking about the election was stolen. Yeah. We were cheated. It was it.
And they're going to reinstate Trump. That doesn't happen.
Even just this week, he had a rally where he was like, the Arizona audit proved that I won.
It didn't. It did not.
We did a whole podcast on the Arizona fucking audit.
But anyway, so there's all this stuff going on. This was to defend one person. And these people are now going to jail for it. Yeah. But again, a lot of them are getting misdemeanor charges rather than felony.
Who do you have next on the
I've got a couple. So, Kyle Young, he's from Iowa, accused of obstructing an officer. And if you remember Officer Fanone that we talked about during the January 6th Commission proceedings, he testified and he said under oath that there were chants in the crowd of steal his gun, shoot him with his gun, shoot him with his own gun. People were trying to steal it. So Kyle Young was one of the people that tried to steal his gun. So you can only presume he was going to murder Fanone.
Kyle Young going under the jail. Did he get a felony or misdemeanor?
Well, this one is, I'll get there. He was deemed a danger to law enforcement because of what he did that day. But his defense attorney says he's got 4 kids. He's not a member of the Proud Boys. I support his right to protest. And the attorney says that he was only there to exercise his First Amendment rights. Now, I don't give a shit what he was initially there for. What he
But what he
ended
ended
up
up doing, yeah.
was trying to murder a police officer and beating the crap out of him. So these defense attorneys, I know that they're just doing what they're supposed to do and trying to get their clients off. But seriously, that's fucking insulting. Oh, he was just there to protest. That's not what he ended up doing. So that's cute. Regardless, he was accused of assaulting the police officer. The judge ruled to keep him in jail because of a prior drug offense.
Oh.
And 5 prior felony convictions.
So this guy is a habitual line stepper.
Yes.
Habitual.
So it's interesting, going back to George Floyd, interesting how a lot of these people said, well, he was the drug abuser in his past, so he gets whatever's coming to him. Well, things come full circle sometimes. So this guy, because of his prior record, he's probably going to get slapped with a felony this time, not a misdemeanor. Now, the other one that I have is Emily Hernandez. This one will boil your blood. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
This one's going to boil your blood. She's from Missouri. She was arrested on January 19th. The status hearing to... actually, there's a status hearing scheduled for November 2nd. So she's had 2 appearances so far. There are 5 total charges against her, including vandalizing and stealing government property. If you've seen the picture of her, she was carrying around Nancy Pelosi's placard that was stolen off of the wall.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Stupid.
So she's parading it around in front of all the people who are taking pictures of her, posting it on social media. The defense attorney says she's anxious to get the proceedings started and get this all behind her. She's the girl next door.
Oh, is she?
It's a situation she did not want to put herself in.
I seen a lot of pornos start with girl next door. I ain't never seen none of them with Nancy Pelosi's fucking placard.
Right.
That ain't her. When you're on the internet and it's like there's a hot girl next door that wants to come talk to you.
She's got
that ain't her.
Well, let me just say, if she's the girl next door, I'm fucking moving, because she was violent enough to rip shit off of the wall and parade it around like that. Mob mentality, maybe, but the attorney's saying that she didn't want to put herself in the situation. Well, she did. Okay, she did.
She didn't want to.
Which
one of them were forced to be there?
That's the thing. It was her choice to go to the rally. It was her choice to follow that rally marching down the street to the Capitol. It was her choice to enter the Capitol. It was her choice to rip that shit off the wall. And it was her choice to parade it around, bragging to everybody that she had stolen government property.
Now, listen. Now, from her standpoint, I completely understand. That's braggable shit. No, in the history of the United States, who's ever done this? No one. You are the sole person that's ever grabbed the Speaker of the House's name off the shit.
Probably.
And got pictures with it.
Probably.
So, but own it. Now you're indicted, now you're in court, you're all like, it wasn't my choice, I didn't know what I was at. No, be like, hey, listen, man, I'm the only one that's ever done it. I bet you the judge will have more respect and be like, you're a dick, but...
Well, here's the thing. This is going to go back to, how did you say at the beginning of the episode, the complexion protection? That's what this is going to turn into. He's billing this as the girl next door. And this is the reason I wanted to bring this up, because it's a very small case, and she's got 5 charges, which is more than a lot of these other people have. But she's a pretty girl. She's a white girl. And this is
does the white make her pretty, or is she pretty outside of being white? She's
pretty outside of being white. I mean, she's an attractive girl. But this is the mentality of these people in general. This case is part and parcel of what we're dealing with. These people, listen to the language from the attorney. She's anxious to get the proceedings started and get this behind her. As if...
Like, she just gonna get off.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. They just think that they can just walk through these motions and, oops, done, nothing doing. Meanwhile, people of color have maybe a misdemeanor for I don't know, pot possession or something like that. If they're
selling loose cigarettes.
yeah, selling loose cigarettes,
Fucking
trying to
dumb
pass
shit.
a $20 bill, that kind of stuff. That happens, and it doesn't get wiped off their record. They can go to jail for a long time because they can't get out on bond. They can't afford bail. They aren't afforded those privileges. They don't have the option of just getting it behind them and moving on. They have their record. If maybe they're not put in jail,
I'm
maybe
still
they are out on
appalled
bond.
for how
but-
these are misdemeanors.
I know.
Man.
I agree with you. But even if these people who have these other charges not related to January 6th, they do have it on their record, they can't get a job because they always have to answer that question, have you ever been charged with a misdemeanor? Yes. And then they don't get chosen for the job. They can't put a roof over their heads. And then they're in this perpetual
You meant
poverty
felony.
cycle.
Have you ever been...
No, there are some job applications where you actually are
Yeah, it's a
asked.
misdemeanor.
Yes.
Huh?
Teachers. I think that they're still asked that question too. So this is not something that people have the option of just wiping clean and walking away from it.
But that's
sick of
her
the privilege.
approach.
That is her approach. That's her attorney's approach, is to be like, we're just going to get this behind us and she can move on with her life. Must be nice, girl. Must be fucking nice. These people need to really, really understand how privileged they are to even take that approach.
Yeah.
I mean, if she gets off scot-free...
If you can show up to court and be like, look, I just want to get this behind me. Let's just hurry up. Like,
Ooh, yeah.
I wish I could do that.
Any of us should wish that we could do that, but that's not the way our justice system is.
An Olympic gold medalist, like multiple gold medalists. His last name is Keller. I don't know if I'm saying his first name right. It's Klete.
Klete?
That's what I thought too, but who knows?
Klete?
I'm gonna let you butcher this stuff. Now, what was interesting about this guy being there and being like in the Capitol building and getting he wasn't arrested the same day.
Okay.
The pictures came out, and the FBI was asking, as we talked about before, do you know this person? Give us some information, whatever. Like the entire Swim USA. The entire Swim USA called the FBI. There's a whole website. It's called what was it called? Swim something. I'm trying to find. I lost it. I had it earlier and I lost it. But there's like a site where if you're like gearing up to go to the Olympics, like doing Olympic trials, and they have like your profile or whatever. That whole website, they were just like, "Yo, this is that guy."
Was he wearing his gold medal or some shit?
You laughing? I'm not.
Oh, was he?
My dude was wearing the Swim USA team jacket.
Stop it!
I don't know what to tell you, man. Like
these people went there that day thinking that they could do this and have no consequences. How sick in the head must they be?
My guy had on the Team USA swim jacket because I think he went to 3 Olympics. So he has a number of jackets with the fucking Olympic rings and the flag, and probably had his name on the back because it's his jacket. But he was one of the first people that like got mass flooded to the FBI. Like, yo, that's the guy. We know him. That's our dude.
Oh my
Keller.
God.
So he's pleaded guilty though.
As he should.
To the charges because like he couldn't escape it. He's been on TV swimming for the country. But just to draw the parallel between him and Major W, who is in the Marine Corps, like Beth is talking about a bunch of people, girls next door, plumbers, whoever, whatever.
Middle America type
right.
of people.
But also on the other end of the spectrum, you have a person who went to compete for the red, white, and blue against every other nation on the planet. 3 times, got gold medals. Like he knows he's famous. That's God. And he went there, got in trouble. The major, who's a part of the Marine Corps, went there and got in trouble. So you and me and everybody far left of us, far right of us, whatever, we are not immune or exempt to being misguided by demagoguery or being misguided or misled by somebody with influence and you know, ill intentions.
Yeah.
Because here you have these people who have probably been to more countries than you and I, have worked and lived in what the Marine definitely went on tour in, you know, war torn, has seen intelligence that we will never see.
Exactly.
You know, and it's just like, well, those people can get swayed. Well, then what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is why you have to guard your sanity and your intelligence.
Yes.
No matter what level you are. Just I hope you don't fall into the Dunning-Kruger realm of things. But always, like, it's so funny. I see stuff on the internet all the time, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and somebody makes a wild claim or whatever. I just go, can I get a source?
Right.
Can you tell me where you're getting this information from? Stop following people, because these two individuals who are elevated in our community, in our society, double gold medalists, a major in the military, can end up now in front of a judge for storming the Capitol.
Yeah.
So could you, so could your brother, your aunt, your sister, whoever, whatever, because the propaganda machine is a juggernaut. There's always some other rabbit hole to go down, another place to go see, and whatever. So you have those people who I was talking about, and then you have these people who, you know, regular Joes.
Regular Joes. And we got another good one, Richard Barnett.
Go.
This is the guy that had his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. And his case is fascinating. It is fascinating. He was indicted on January 29th, and he was arraigned on February 4th, where he pleaded not guilty.
Is he stupid? We have like 4K video of this dude.
Not guilty was what he was pleading.
Didn't he take an envelope too?
He did. And this is where, at the top of the episode, I mentioned that, you know, tampering with evidence, destroying evidence, that's all a crime. And he destroyed the evidence because they couldn't find the envelopes that he took.
But we know it's because he had it outside. Yeah. And he was on Parlor or what.
So he was getting charged with, I think they call it a 1519. I think that's what they call it when you're tampering with evidence. That's because he apparently was trying to destroy what he stole. At the February hearing, it was noted that he was likely to be charged with this tampering with evidence thing. Yeah. And his attorney agreed to move the next court date to May 4th. And this was all over Zoom. I think you and I mentioned that before we started recording, that a lot of these proceedings are happening over Zoom. Yeah. So he went ballistic. He went ape shit. Because he was just like, this isn't fair. That was actually what he's like, I've been here a long time.
He's one of the people that started the whole movement for the justice for J6, because they were saying, you know, he's self-reporting that he's being treated unfairly.
Yeah. But that was because he was assuming other people who were getting out. Well, those other people were charged with something very different than what he was. He was in Nancy Pelosi's office with his feet on her desk. He stole her mail or whatever it was off of her desk. That is in stark contrast to the people who, even to the girl who stole her name placard, she's got 5 different charges. That is in stark contrast also to the other people who just entered the building and were obstructing Congress.
Who were just in the crowd.
Yes, exactly. So there are so many gradients to all these charges. And this dude, because he's clearly uneducated, was just saying, it's not fair. It's not fair. Yeah. So the judge kept saying, please stop talking. Your attorney's right here. You guys can go into your own private Zoom call. And he's like, but. He keeps interrupting the judge. It's not fair. It's not fair. So to him, he was saying that the jail time was something that he couldn't afford to do. Well, then don't fucking commit the crime, dude. Don't go walking around parading yourself in the Speaker of the House's office with your feet up on her desk.
Feet up, bruh.
Yes. So if you, again, the common theme here is these people thought they could do all of this and have no consequences.
I can't wait for my grandkids to ask me about this. Yeah. Because in the olden days, in the early 20s, when you were alive and experienced the insurrection of 2020, 2021. Yes. and I'm like, come gather around, everybody, sit down on my lap. I was at work. Yep. And I had to pull over my truck and watch it on because by then they'll have like holograms and shit. And I was like, I had to watch it on my little 5-inch screen. And like, oh my God.
So lastly, we have Christoper Doolin. This was an interesting one to me because of his defense that he was claiming in court. You're gonna love this. So this guy brought weapons into the Capitol building, and and there are text messages. I've seen screenshots of it. Text messages between him and his friend, talking about how he wanted to bring an AR-15 into the Capitol, and his attorney is claiming he is not a man prone to violence, nor is he a danger to the community. So he claims that Doolin claims that the government is using non sequiturs and speculation, and he's got an ankle bracelet now. And he says that it's a violation of due process, and it's unfair for the government to rely on guilt by association with others. And he also texted his friend, "I wouldn't mind dying with my family storming the Capitol on my birthday." So I guess he's okay committing the crime so long as he's dead and doesn't have to do the time.
That was kind of sweet. It was kind of poetic.
But he's saying that the government's using non sequiturs and guilt by association. Well, in fact, guilt by association is something you can be charged for, because if you're driving the getaway car for the robber that just robbed the bank, you are in fact guilty by association. So this guy, I don't get his defense. But again, these people think that they should not be in jail because they should be able to take weapons in the Capitol, storm the building, rip off shit off the walls, put the feet on the desk,
kill a couple of
officers, and have no jail time. I can't make sense of this. I really can't. So justice for January 6th seems like a bullshit thing to me.
But the fact that they're all getting misdemeanors seems like they're all the complexion for protection.
Yes. It is. So if you're interested in how you can kind of get your wrap your hands around this, go follow the people on Twitter. And I'm actually going to link up a government website that you can use to follow these cases as well, to actually see the court documents. I suggest that you dive into these and keep your eyes on it, because there might need to be something as a follow-up for our justice system to be, I don't know, revamped a little bit, so that, because I assure you this is probably going to happen again. There's going to be another January 6th, because if these people really don't have any consequences or any lasting consequences for this kind of action, it's bound to happen again.
All right, well, while you're linking them up and letting people know all of that stuff, let them know how they can get to us.
Well, we are on YouTube and Twitch at Mixed Politics, and Facebook and Instagram, mixed.politics, Twitter at mixedpolitics1. Or you can send us an email at mixedpoliticspod@gmail.com. We are also on Patreon, and this is his specialty. Patreon.com/mixedpolitics is where you can give back to us, and we give back to you. There are certain tiers that will grant you more depending on how much you've donated or supported us. Ranging from hoodies to coming here and having a drink with us and having dinner with us, sending us your questions that we can answer on in the podcast, seeing behind the scenes footage, more of how we prepare for an episode like this, etc., etc., etc. All of that kick to us, and we kick back to you at patreon.com/mixedpolitics. So to all our analysts, pundits, and experts, cheers. We're adults now. Episode 21. Yeah. So I'm thinking we've got a little time. We should do some Patreon content talking about